This is the story of a very unique stone. It has a very unique formation, it has a very auspicious location in relation to other sites, and it looks almost alive. Later in the video we'll see what it's actually looking at. It is located just inside the hedge on a little road just to the north of the Ennistulla Road at Clooney. Now, because of its shape and because we'll be talking about other stones as well, we'll refer to this one as the Anvil Stone. Let's talk first about its formation. The story is that there was a shallow lake at this location, and the normal erosion processes which shape limestone took effect on this, and this is the result. However, there are some of the curves and angles there which are not consistent with this theory. For example, there's a very neatly tapered cylindrical hole near the base of the stone, which has very good circularity that doesn't often happen with naturally eroded limestone. And looking at this curvature under the other end of the stone, there are some quite straight contours there, which you would expect to be curved in every direction if it was eroded by movement of water. For example, the axis of the cylinder which would fit in this curvature is very uniform, and there is no erosion right at the corners. It does have a sister stone a few kilometers away, which was very obviously carved and which has since been broken. Here we can see the rectangular nature of the base, the curvature up to the neck of the stone, so I'm guessing it had a protrusion somewhat similar to the Anvil Stone. Let's look at the stone's location. Exactly 8 kilometers to the south is a big lump of limestone in a field just to the west of Shandangan Lake. There's me having a look at it. It's actually 2 lumps of limestone, about 10, 11, 12 tons each, in the middle of quite a big field. And if we take a line from here over the top of the Bullaun Stone at Maw Eyre, then we hit our Anvil Stone. As always, this could be a coincidence, so let's keep going. Let's go back to Maw Eyre, and if we take a line from here to the Anvil Stone and carry the line on for another 300 metres, we hit the centre of a ring fort on the top of the hill there at Lassana. Next, let's look at where the stone is pointing. Looking in over the hedge at it from the road, there's a clear ridge on the back of it, and that aligns with the body of the stone, the bit that looks like a lizard's head. And the obvious question is, what is down along that line? It is much too small an object to drop a line on it on Google Earth on the satellite image, so we'll have to find another way to plot its angle. In order to do this, I've gone out there with 2 straight edges. I've got an edge along the road which we can easily get an accurate heading for. And by eyeballing the stone and putting the other straight edge in line with that, then we can draw an angle and measure that. There's the angle we're talking about. It turns out to be 59 degrees. So that's going to be 59 degrees west of whatever heading the road is on, which, according to Google Earth, is 185.45 degrees. And subtracting 59 from that, we have 126.45 degrees. So, starting at the Anvil Stone, we take a line at 126.45 degrees away to the northwest and see what we hit. We do not have to go far. Less than 2 kilometers away, on top of a hill at Clooney, is Knockfarbreg. It's a line of 4 standing stones, which, according to local legend, are 4 robbers which were turned to stone when they attacked and robbed a group of Franciscan monks on their way from Ennis to Tulla. These stones stand at an intersection point on a number of alignments, but today we're only talking about this one, because if we take this line from the Anvil Stone, continue it through these stones away to the northwest, that line hits the centre of the round tower at Kilnaboy. And along the way it goes through this geometric centre point there on the boundary walls at Rouen Cemetery, which might or might not be significant. So that's what we get when we go away to the northwest. If we continue the line back in the other direction, way towards the southeast, there is, in a field at Sallybank near Broadford, a stone. It's the only stone which has been left on this very nice farm south-facing farm there at Sallybank. And again, this stone sits on other alignment lines. It has had a hole drilled on top of it there. The landowner doesn't know how, when or why this hole was drilled. Looks like it may have held a flagpole or some metallic object maybe. There are two other things worth mentioning about this line. If we continue the line past Sallybank, it goes to one of the ponds which have been excavated in the grounds of Glenstal Abbey. I don't know the significance of that at the moment. We might come back to it again. And slightly to the northwest of Sallybank, less than a kilometre away, is the site of Knockhafunta Dolmen. That's drawn here as a cromlech on the 1900 25-inch Ordnance Survey map. That location is forestry right now, planted about 5 years ago. The briars are about 6 foot tall now. I have not been able to get in there to verify the location of that, but according to the maps, that's where it is. So all on that same line we have the stone at Sallybank, Knockhafunta Dolmen, or Anvil Stone, Knockfarbraig Standing Stones, and the round tower at Kilnaboy. The next alignment line that crosses our Anvil Stone is from Inch Church, where a line along the ridge tile points us directly to the round tower at Sir Ciarán Monastery in Offaly, 75 kilometres away. It's an old monastic site which has churches and other sites all around the country aligned with it. And this line goes right over the top of our Anvil Stone. The final alignment we'll look at is one from a little lake at Ballyduff near Bearfield down to Tulla. The lake at Ballyduff is the meeting point of several alignment lines, including one from Drumcliff to the island buildings there at Lochgraney. But the line we're talking about today is from the lake, goes away to the southeast, travels along the northern perimeter of the land there on the Cranaher estate. It defines the northern perimeter wall there. It continues, goes over our Anvil Stone, over the middle of the little lake in Fomerley, which is like the Enchanted Lake. It's the meeting point of 25 lines. Then it goes over the top of a lime kiln at Moymore and ends at a very unusual stone and tree in the middle of a field further on in Moymore. This is another one of those locations where trees find it easy to grow at points along these alignment lines. And the lime kiln is also interesting. It's one of a number of locations that I've seen where lime kilns are built on these alignment lines. This was a functioning lime kiln, and back in the day it would have needed to haul limestone and whatever fuel you were using with horse and cart to the lime kiln, so it would have made sense to at least build it near the gate, near the road, but that's not what happened. They put them in specific places, apparently according to these alignment lines, as if the breakdown of calcium carbonate into lime with the heat was boosted by whatever energy might have been travelling along these lines. There had to be a purpose because of how they're located. A couple of observations in relation to ringfort positioning. Here's one approximately 1 kilometre to the northeast, and the alignment over the Anvil Stone takes us to Killow Church near the M18 motorway beside Ennis. And this is a ringfort 4 kilometres to the west, which has two embankments leading away from it. One of them, the yellow line there, points us to the old church at Kilcurrish near Tuna. And the other line there, the orange one, appears to point us straight to the Anvil Stone. Now, at the end of all that, I suppose the main questions are, what is the significance of the unusual features of this stone? It has some features which are consistent with normal limestone erosion by water, and some features which are not consistent. This is the only piece of protruding limestone for a distance around here, and one wonders, why has it eroded along the axis of one of the alignment lines? If you dug around it, would you find that it has a base, and it was something that was carved elsewhere and transported here and placed very carefully? The big stones in the field at Shandangan, the one we looked at in the first alignment, is also quite unusual in that the composition of the rock is very unusual. Here's what I said when I went out there. There seem to be odd formations of different types of stone, all mixed up together. Now, I'm not a geologist, but some of this is very hard rock,
and some is regular limestone. There are also some very interesting, very straight cut edges on what I'll call the harder stone. There's one there now, for example, and it looks like it has been cut and would have been very unlikely to shatter in that formation.
Thank you all again for watching, and do feel free to forward the viewing link to anybody who you reckon has an inquiring mind like yourself. Thanks again.